Here in one of the central areas of Bengaluru, and we are talking about Bengaluru live wires. Yes, it is not new. The incident of a mother and child who fell victim to Bengaluru's live wire in one of the premium locations of the city, and that is Whitefield. This is known to everyone, but here is a reality check that we are doing. We are very close to the Cubbon Park metro station, and you can see a whole lot of cables that have been entangled right on this very tree. Now, do I feel sorry for this tree as well, along with the lives of so many citizens that have been lost over the last decade that we are talking about? This is not the first case that Bengaluru has witnessed. Now, to give you another picture, right from the branches over there, the cables are hanging and it falls right into this compound here. And anybody who is actually walking into this, interestingly, this is the BSNL building, which also shares its complex with the commercial court complex. And you have all these cables strewn all over. Now, imagine if there is a live wire somewhere here hidden amongst these cables. Then imagine the plight of any citizen who would just innocently walk through these pavements as well as complexes, and imagine the kind of dangerous situations that they will be subjected to. And number two is also the cables that are overhead. So there are so many cables like these. We don't know whether some of them are electric lines or most of them are just OFC cables. But we are told that in some of these areas, which is the central business district, you have the electric wires running underground. Now, if this is the case, separate ducts being done for OFC cables and electric wires running underground, if that can be implemented throughout an entire city like Bengaluru, which is known to be extremely global, also having the tag of being the IT city, why can this not be implemented in an IT hub like Whitefield? And that is precisely why many citizen groups have been fighting this time and again for at least over a decade now. In fact, the first case that we can closely remember is the year 2019, when a Belendu resident decided to register an FIR after witnessing right in front of his eyes an elderly man who was subjected to an electrocution accident. Now, imagine this. If I were to talk to you on camera and I lean myself on this pole and I accidentally touch this cable, what would be running in every citizen's mind, especially after a shocking incident that took place just 2 days ago? Right on Sunday, early morning, 5 a.m., she walks on a pavement like this, very, very happily talking to her mother on the phone, and accidentally touches the OFC cables, steps on them without realizing that there was a killer live wire that was ensconced right amongst those cables. Now, if this can happen to her right between 5 a.m. and 6 a.m., which was in the dark, unnoticed, even in broad daylight, we hear of citizens who have been electrocuted. Right from 2015, we have been speaking about at least 750 lives that have been lost to just accidental electrocution in an area like Bengaluru, which falls under the jurisdiction of BESCOM, which is Bengaluru Electricity Supply Company Limited. And that is the department that is answerable today. Today, we did hear of Mr. KJ George, Karnataka Minister for Power, who did give us an explanation of what exactly happened. Now, when these overhead cables run, now if it is running from an electric pole, there are chances of these cables getting snapped at any time. It could be because of birds, it could be because of rodents, it could even be because of the rainy season where the branches could just fall off and the wires could just snap at any given time. And when that happens, the voltage is extremely high. And if nobody alerts the respective stations, the electricity stations that are here in and around that area, then the live wire is just there, ready to claim the life of any innocent person walking on a pavement, on the road, or just driving, or even sitting in a bus stop. Now, that is a clear-cut example of overhead cables running through a traffic signal. Now, imagine so many of these people right on their two-wheelers stationed there waiting for the signal to turn green, and you have a red wire right above waiting to get snapped, and that could pose to be a great danger. Now, there have been several instances where these kind of incidents have been thrown light on and taken up with the respective administration as well as authorities. So many of these cables need to be removed, kilometers and kilometers. I think the last that, according to reports that we can remember, is around 9,000 odd kilometers of cables that have been removed here. And these are cables that still remain exposed over here and haven't been covered in a proper manner. So, this is the kind of situation that we are talking about. And yes, there has been suspension of 5 officials that has been announced, and we also have actions like show cause notices that have been issued to several other officials. An inquiry report that is being awaited and that is being done by the BESCOM department here. Look at the random haphazard cables that are lying everywhere here. Now, how do we believe that these are just OFC cables, and how do we be very very sure that there is no live wire that is entangled here right amongst this? There has also been a case. Now look at this wire. Now, are we really very sure that this is just an AFC cable, or if it is a live wire waiting to claim your life? Now, this is the kind of dangerous exposure that citizens are awaiting, and people have to definitely take stringent measures and action. Three kinds of investigation that is on: one by the police, one by the BESCOM. Latest that we hear is also of the NHRC. Now we'll have to wait and see if there would be any kind of drastic measures that will put an end to this and also give us some sort of a concrete solution. And that is what Bengaluru is waiting for. And this is not just limited to Bengaluru. We are also talking about several such incidents that have been claiming lives in several other cities, even Delhi, for instance. People have been talking about it. But will there be a clear cut solution in terms of an underground laying or a duct that can actually be followed and put in place? This is the question or the need of the hour. With camera person Govind, Pratibha Raman in Bengaluru for NDTV.